Not only was the Newcastle job available, but the Valencia manager Marco Rose was sacked too, and they are currently in the Europa League next year. And to be fair, they do have a decent side as well, but there was something that just wasn't jumping out at me to go for this role over the Newcastle job. Something just didn't feel right. Meanwhile, Tottenham brought back Arne Slot, which also meant the PSG job became vacant, which might cause some more manoeuvres. But of course, they asked me in for an interview first. And after I turned it down, Andre Villas-Boas was announced. Qualification in the Premier League was all over the place, but it's still nothing for Newcastle United. However, it wasn't long before they responded to my application, and we reminisced on the good old days. They've even signed Jurgen Klopp as a director of football since, which I found quite surprising. And just like that, I'm back with the Toon Army. 11 years later. Dad, meanwhile, had his eyes on an incredible Croatian midfielder, but had to also battle against other big sides wanting his signature. But the midfielder turned down Dad's Bayern Munich side to go to Liverpool. Right, Dad, that guy rejected you.
Yep.
Dead to
I
you
was
now.
disappointed. I was so disappointed with that. That was a hell of a player, wasn't it?
He was class.
When he come up with that price, you think, just quickly, I had to sell a player quickly, didn't I? Try and get him in.
Yeah. Still rejected you though. So instead, you brought in Beckham Medway.
Yeah, I mean, this is
the best name I've ever heard in football.
And he's a good player as well, so not so bad, but I mean, the other player was a better player, but this is still a good player. I'm happy with this boy.
And he's done quite well for you, to be fair, in the games that he's played. He scored in the cup game, which he come on in his debut. He got a good average rating in the league. Of course, he was an Arsenal player.
Oh, no one. That's all I had was that money type thing. So I had to sign the best one I get in another Arsenal. I'm looking at you and you're looking at me and I'm thinking, you're going to say it again.
Give him number 7, though. I respect it.
Yeah.
Beckham Medway.
Yeah.
So I definitely respect that. Plays in both positions. But other names, Josko Gvardiol.
Yeah. When I had my new tactics set up and all that, I realised I didn't have any good reserve centre-backs.
Nah.
Spent a lot of money on a 35-year-old, but he's still good. So
he's only 10 million.
It was the wages, wasn't it?
Yeah, wages. He's on 375k.
So, but I got him in, and he's gone right into my first team anyway. So it's worth the 10 million. So.
Yeah, he's fantastic still.
Yeah. And he covered me at left back when I had an injury at left back as well, didn't
exactly,
he?
So, you can play both. It's weird now that we're at the stage where Josko Gvardiol, who obviously in real life is starting his career, is 35. Yeah. Alan Ramsden, this is arguably your best signing, I think.
100%, yeah. He's fitted straight into the position I wanted him to be, because I have changed my tactic, making it a little bit harder in my midfield, really strengthening it up, because obviously I'm going for a cup now, so he's done really well for me, this player.
Yeah, I mean, that 20 for vision, likes to beat the offside trap.
Yeah.
14 for finishing with 15 composure. He is very good.
4 goals in 3 games.
Yeah.
Average rating of 8.47. What a player.
He means business already. For £72 million, that looks like a steal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Which is mental to say.
I'm hoping this is the guy that wins me the cup.
Yeah, he was release clause one as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Then this one might be a little bit over paid, considering that one was only 72.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you look at it that way, yeah.
But we are struggling for fullbacks, aren't we?
Oh, 100%. We just
fullbacks and defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
For some reason, we just cannot find good ones.
We've been spending most of our time just looking for those 2 positions, haven't
Yeah.
we? I mean, this guy came out of nowhere, really, and he looked good, and I just had a jump at it, really.
Yeah.
I know I did spend a lot of money, but he is still good, though.
He is very good. And he plays naturally on both positions.
And that was one of the other reasons I bought him, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's uncovered on both sides. And
Absolutely.
and you look at his value now.
Yeah. It's probably because they know. There's no other fullbacks.
That's right, yeah.
This is as good as what you're going to get.
So I'm really pleased. I have got a small squad.
Yeah.
But I'm really pleased with the team I've got. You know, so I've changed the tactic, like I said. So I think I'm in with a really good chance this time.
Absolutely. I mean, players on the outs, you can see there's a list of players here. You might recognise some of the names that Dad used last year, but of course they're all new gens anyway, so there's no point really looking at them.
No.
But tactically, as you mentioned, you changed it. You've gone for a box formation, the Brazilian box, the standard 4-2-2 narrow, attacking as well. And if you do pick without restrictions, best 11, Camavinga finally goes into his natural position, although he did a great job for you at left back.
I was going to say, that was another position I really wanted him to be in. That's what I bought him for, right? So I was pleased that he went into that position, really.
But moving all the centre mids, well, the DMs up into centre mid has meant that Prince Vita actually goes at right back for you.
And what a right back he is as well.
He's decent right back,
So
I mean, world class.
It was like a Brucey bonus for that when he moved into that position, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's the lineup, how it looks with the best 11 nailed in there.
Yeah.
How have you been doing? Well, you've won all games so far at the start of this season. It's been a good start for you, really.
And
the Super Cup.
The pleasing thing about it as well, I'm not conceding very many goals. It's all right. It's one
goal
every game, but I'm still not conceding very many.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
You beat Trier. They didn't try enough. 8-1. Hamburg 7-1. Mainz 4-1. Gladbach 4-1. So no close games.
It's a better start than I had last season. So
yeah. And already, again, you're facing Man City. You seem to play them every year.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So happy days.
But I'm not worried about the Champions League, so...
No.
Don't get me wrong, I'd like to win it, because it's a number one for my sort of...
ego?
Yeah.
Trophy cabinet. That's what we meant. For your badges and etc. and how your profile looks. Yeah, but...
My profile, that was the one I was...
Yeah. Same thing.
I'll take the eagle, though.
Yeah. But of course, you're going for the DFB Pokal, my favourite trophy, which is weird, right? Because I've only just thought of this. That's the first one I won.
Yeah, it was.
Because I won that before I won the league.
Yeah, you came into Germany, didn't you? And won that. Then,
that's
the league,
where I started. So
yeah.
the first trophy I won is the last one you're trying to win.
Yeah.
Before we obviously both go for the Europa League, which is almost impossible for us to both get. So you ideally need to get it done this year.
I really, because we've only got 5 seasons left after this season.
Yeah.
So that at least gives me 5 seasons to go for it then.
Yeah, because I still think I might struggle with the FA Cup. I think the FA Cup's going to be too difficult for me, with like the likes of Man City, etc., and Man United obviously winning it the last couple of years. I think it might be hard for me. It might take me more than just one season to get the FA Cup done. So you might take the advantage into the Europa League.
Yeah, we always say it with the Cups, don't you? When you've got to lose one game and you're out.
We'll see. But speaking of which, I've tried then to make my team very hard to beat. And I think I've done quite a good job because, I mean, the formation I'm using is a 4-3-3. It's very standard in what it is. It's a balanced mentality, so I'm not pushing too many people forward because the players I've got that do go up there, phenomenal. We already know about my star striker, Oscar Rada. He is one of the best strikers that we have seen in this whole save so far. He's been amazing. He's scored loads of goals for Newcastle. He's already got me 4 in 3 with 2 assists and 2 player of the matches of an 8.17 average rating. He's been great. Yeah. Got a couple of good backup strikers as well. But I have made some good signings and I've made some questionable ones as well. But we'll see how it goes. So they sold £242 million worth. I played a bit of part of that. There's a couple of players that I actually sold myself. I think Otake was one of them. Romanchuk was another one who was one of those backup strikers that any other team would be my star striker.
Yeah.
But I thought...
you finished at 18.
Unbelievable, yeah. But I thought, no, I'm just going to go with one up top. I couldn't get that much money for him. I've gone with one up top. So the players that I bought to go around it are okay. So I've got Vitor, who's come in, who is a centre-back, Brazilian centre-back. He doesn't start, but I needed somebody who can play on both sides. He's strong and very strong with both sides of his, with both feet. So he is like my number 1 backup centre-back. They didn't have any when I first joined the club. João Veloso, because we needed extra legs in that midfield, and he is very good and gives me options as well, because I've got, as you've seen my tactic, centre midfield on attacks. He's really good at doing that because he runs the ball through the centre, moves into channels. Comes here to get ball kind of stops him from doing that, but at the same time, I don't mind it as much because the other player that I've got centre mid is unbelievable. £1.9 million is the same when Dad, remember you found that Munoz? He was at Leverkusen 1.5. This is my version. He's not as good, I don't think, as Munoz, but for £1.9 million at Boca Juniors, my scouts have done really well, and he has that player trait. Gets into opposition area, so that's the stuff I look for in centre mid there. And O'Neill Nib is the funniest name, but he was the last signing I made to go at right back, and again, can't find fullbacks. Cannot find decent fullbacks. He is not amazing. He also doesn't even start, which I'm like, how compared to the other right back? So I have been trying to start him. I might have to nail him in. I don't want to, but if I do best 11, he doesn't go in the side. This man here, who annoyingly you sold to them last season, is causing me way too much trouble because he is a terrible right back. Yeah, he's not very good. So yeah, I don't quite know what I'm going to do, whether I do decide to nail him in or not. But the rest of the team's okay. We got Kurai here, who for some reason plays at centre back quite a lot instead of the other centre back. He's just got great positioning and like okay physicals. Heading wise, marking and tackling is not fantastic. Garcia's a very good player. Going forward though, Collier is one of the best midfielders in the world, 26, and he's homegrown. Did he come through? No, he come through Everton's, but he has that gets forward whenever possible, which I love, with unbelievable physicals to play in that centre midfield on attack.
Talk about your other midfielder.
Archie Gray. Yeah. Unbelievable talent. Obviously Leeds in real life, but at this point, he's 31. £54 million was money well spent.
I mean, in real life, he's just starting.
Yeah, he's just getting into the prime of his career. John Reed is playing from that right-hand side, but he can also fill in centre mid, which is good because I've got quite a few different wingers if he needs to be required to play in there as well. But I think I signed quite well to not be able to do that. So he plays from that right-hand side. And we've also got Minter on the left. He's a cracking winger, to be fair. Good left foot. Both of them have been doing really well, and both of them are English. So it's been working all right as well, because the only games I've conceded in are in the Chelsea game, which I've just beaten my former club Chelsea 3-1. Ali Duckett, my former player, of course, my former favourite player.
You did look to try and buy him, didn't you?
Yeah, he was 160. I was like, every club I've gone to since, I'm like, can I get Ali in? No, I can't. And Hull, which I did a fully rotated team pretty much. So the other teams, Everton beat them 2-0, and Tottenham, I give a big fingers up to them after they wouldn't even interview me for the job. I stuffed them 4-0, and Arne Slot even came to one of your games to look at players, didn't he? Because he was shitting himself after I beat him 4-0. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have to worry about the Premier League. I've done that already with Newcastle, and of course with Chelsea as well. But, I'm third at the minute. My season really starts when I get into January.
After Christmas,
But at the same time, don't want to be doing too well in the Premier League, because if I can just slip into that 6th place, 5th place, and put myself in contention for Europa League,
I don't think you'd be struggling with that team.
I don't. I honestly, I think I've made it too good.
Like you said, you've made your tactics to make yourself very hard to beat.
Yeah.
Because of the cups, so I don't think you'll be struggling.
No, I don't either. But anyway, that's our goals. That's our targets. Dad's got to win the cup. I've got to win the cup, and I've got to somehow find our way into the Europa League. Can it happen? Will it happen? Let's find out. If anything, though, we were too good. Like smashing worldies in the top corner against Manchester City good. Although my former side Chelsea did have a slight advantage at the top of the table. And hilariously, it's the same Chelsea that knocked me out of the Carabao Cup and who I've just been drawn against in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Dad was also in a similar boat as me too. He is top of the Bundesliga going into the back end of the season, but it is close. And who's in the way of the DFB Pokal? It's his old side, Bayer Leverkusen. But thankfully, he put in a solid performance and progressed through to the final against the Borussia Dortmund side, who had just beat my dad's Bayern Munich team in the league. Well, Dad, it looked a little bit ropey at some point.
Like I said, we were right on my ass all the time, really.
Yeah, but you eventually won the league.
Yep. Pleased with that.
6 points.
Not that I needed the league, but obviously make sure I didn't get sacked. That was the main thing. If I started doing badly, they could have sacked me quite easy, couldn't they? So
only lost 2 games in the end. Dortmund, which was the end of the season.
Yeah, it nearly cost me the league.
Who also you face in the DFB Pokal final.
So 1 year down to 1 game, and I just lost it. What, 2 games before, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I was a bit worried, especially seeing they were doing well, really. And you look at their end record, really, they were on a run.
Yeah, they were, absolutely.
So
how did you do? You won it on penalties.
Just.
That's so frustrating. 95th minute they equalised.
9-8 on penalties.
Yeah. They sent it because you were 2-1 up into the 95th minute. Then they scored in the 95th minute again in extra time. And you scored in the 111th.
And I missed a penalty.
You missed a penalty on the 5th minute. But penalties, you actually only missed 1, whereas they missed 3 in total. So, or was that just 2? That's 2 because it's the same person.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations. You now have just 1 trophy to win, and it is the Europa League. But you cannot do that at Bayern Munich.
Nope, I'm looks like I'm off again.
So I mean, you give you've got loads of options now. You don't have to be nailed down to one. As soon as somebody comes up that's in the Europa League, you can pounce and go for it. But has that meant that the pendulum has swung in Dad's favour, or do I also only need the Europa League to win? Well, let's find out, because my Newcastle side won the Premier League. 2 times in a row I've come into Newcastle and shot them up from 7th or 6th straight into champions of the league.
I'm worried, but this could be so exciting.
Because
we're both waiting for the Europa League.
I know.
If you've won it, the FA Cup. Oh.
Did I? Did I not? I did not.
Oh, Chelsea.
5th round by Chelsea. My old club. Your old club. Because somebody got sent off, and it was the damn player that you sold to them 2 seasons ago. The butterfly effect again.
Yep.
Which is so frustrating, because he is crap as well. And I didn't want him to begin with. And my old favourite player that I bought scored the winner in Cosio just after I got back into the game as well.
Yeah.
Equalised, and then he got sent off the minute after.
I think the big thing as well, looking at that, Man City are not in it. So they must have got knocked out quite early.
Yeah.
And they were the danger side of the league up until then, weren't they?
The only big club that was in it at that point
knocked out.
Was Man United.
Yeah.
So if I knock out Chelsea, it's mine to win. But no, they went through and they won on penalties against Brighton. Huge opportunity wasted.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
What I did find funny is 2 teams that we've been mentioning quite a lot recently are to play each other in the Champions League final. And it's my club versus your club in real life.
Spurs knocked me out
of
the Champions League, so...
They were the past winners last year. So could they do 2 years in a row? That'd be absolutely mental under Marco Rose. Which is quite funny because obviously I was waiting for that job.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
They won we didn't know that they won the Champions League last year. So their interim manager won the Champions League for them, and they've reached the final again. Semi-final, they knocked out Chelsea. Atletico Madrid reached the semi-final. So weird teams that got to that point. They also knocked out Porto. You are still nowhere to be seen here.
I was in the round of 16.
Into the round of 16.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny.
4-3 on aggregate.
There we go. So, yeah, very interesting. You now take the advantage.
Job done. Germany.
Gone. Another trophy to add to your trophy cabinet for Glory Hunter with 1 left.
The hardest one.
How are we just chopping and changing non-stop? It's really frustrating. My anxiety is through the roof. So now you're going to be looking at clubs who are in the Europa League. Mainz and Schalke, probably not the ones.
No, they're
not. If I'm honest.
No.
But then, is there any actually clubs around? There is, but it's Manchester City, who finish in second place. Yeah. I don't know whether he was sacked or has just decided to leave. Gallardo, he was sacked. Despite winning 2 Premier Leagues in 2 years. The first time he doesn't win the Premier League because of me, he's sacked. Which is quite funny.
So who's in the Europa League now then?
Chelsea and Manchester United. But if Manchester United win the Champions League, obviously they won't be in Europa League. It would be Chelsea or maybe Fulham. So
I could do with the Chelsea manager going to Man City.
Well, yeah. It is all. I mean,
who's in charge of Chelsea?
Unai Emery is insecure in the Serie A and finished in 5th place, which again is Europa League. So whether you decide to go there, because they've got some cracking players too. They've got one of the only good right backs in the world.
Yeah,
we've been mentioning you won't have to worry about right backs. They've got a good one over there that they've brought in from Ghent ages ago. So you won't have to worry about right backs. They've got them. So that could be an option for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you try and rattle a cage there, they're probably one of the best teams in Europa League. If you get that, I'll probably be like, right, okay, it's game over, because there's no point in me leaving Newcastle. I've got to just get that FA Cup out of the way.
Yeah.
Got to just do it. So, yeah, job security wise, that was it. If you have a look at the other leagues, though, the other clubs who are in Europa League football next year, Villarreal, Alaves somehow are doing quite well, and they've got into Europa League football next season.
No one jumps out there for me, really.
No, in the French division, you got Toulouse, by the looks of it, or Nice, who were also.
That's one of my old teams.
And they were also insecure. Edin Terzic at Nice.
That could be tempting.
Your former club.
Yeah, I done well there.
Which I remind you, Nice board, he screwed over and left to go to PSG.
And then you knocked me out. They kept on knocking me out of the Champions League, though,
They
didn't
did,
they?
yeah. They get their own back.
Whenever I was going to different teams and that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's in the French league, which you could obviously go for. But there we go. Those are your options for next season. Or you just sit and wait if nothing comes up. We are, again, in a World Cup year, 2038. The World Cup is to be played this season, which we know will cause a little bit of drama and a little bit more managerial movements. Belgium are the past winners of both
I
the
think if
World
one of
Cup
the top
and Euros.
teams comes up though, and they're in that position, I think I'm just going to jump in quickly.
Yeah, just
and
get
take a chance.
Yeah, but this is the hardest thing because once you're in there, you basically you've only got one season because it's hard to qualify for it 2 years in a row.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Speaking of the Europa League, though, how has it played out this season? The winners was Everton.
2 English teams as well.
2 English teams in the final. Everton were the winners.
So they'll take a Champions League spot, won't they?
They have done. Yep, they have done in the Champions League. So
Yeah.
take a look here. You can see there they finished in 10th place, which of course meant that there's. I think they took Chelsea's one, but Chelsea, I got a feeling because of what happened last season, where Liverpool were also gifted a Champions League spot for where they finished. Chelsea will be given another one as well.
Yeah.
And they still got Deschamps as their manager, so he might keep his job just because of that qualification.
Moving into the Champions League,
Yeah. But Kieran McKenna at Manchester United across the season is no good, but they are winning cups non-stop. They're not doing anything in the leagues. They just keep winning bloody cups.
Imagine if that job comes up, I'll take that.
If you finish it off with Manchester United, honestly...
Imagine if I'd done the double FA Cup and the Europa League.
Yeah, to stop me from winning the FA Cup. I don't know what I'd do.
Oh, that would be such a good finish. Come on, Man United, sack him.
Right, well, I mean, we're going into the back end of Glory Hunter now with just a couple of trophies for me, 1 trophy for Dad, but that Glory Hunter cabinet needs to add 1 more trophy, and unfortunately, it's going in Dad's. Let's have a look. Once again, the FA Cup eludes me. I must be cursed. But congratulations to Dad, he has done it and nailed the DFB Pokal, completing Germany and leaving just 1 trophy remaining.